Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video. In today's video, I'll be talking about the Detroit Pistons and why I believe they have a bright future ahead of them, and most of the painful rebuilding has been done already. So without further ado, let's get started. In the previous season, they had a record of 20 and 52, which was the worst in the Eastern Conference. However, not the NBA. I think the Houston Rockets had a worse record than them. Now, they were, very bad in terms of offensive rating in 26 out of 30 teams, but surprisingly, they were 16th out of 30 teams defensively. Probably can be attributed to Jeremy Grant's impact. And on the topic of Jeremy Grant, he had a great breakout year after crossing over from Denver on the 3-year $60 million deal, I believe. He was averaging 22.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Now, it was evident that being the main guy on an NBA team took its toll on him with injuries and lacking consistency with his play. However, I still think he's going to be a very key part of their starting lineup, and I think that he's going to be great as well. And obviously, this team does have a few interesting young pieces. But just before I get into that, just a quick break. I make NBA content 2 to 3 times a week, and I'd heavily appreciate it if you guys subscribed. Help me on my journey, join the journey, and also, don't forget to like and also comment, how many games you think Detroit will win, or, how many years you think it'll be until they make the playoffs. Without further, let's continue. So continuing from where I left off, which was, talking about the young, the youth on the team, they went to the draft and, drafted 4 players. Obviously, the most noteworthy player was Cunningham, who was picked first overall out of Oklahoma State. He averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game while at Oklahoma City State, and shot 40% from 3 and also 44% overall. He also looked like a guy that was able to, stand up in big moments, and he has a pretty all-round game that can stack up in the NBA. And another guy they drafted was Isaiah Livers as well. He's a guy that can come out and probably, become a good 3-and-D type of guy. He averaged 6 rebounds a game in his senior season, along with 43% from the three-point line. They also got Luke Garza and Smith as well, I believe. Those two guys are a bit more, of a kind of, diamond in the rough. Like if they work out, it's magical. But if they don't work out, then I guess they didn't lose much, as they're both late picks in the second round. Now, them picking Cade Cunningham is good because in the past the Pistons have gone for, fit instead of talent. So a notable example of that was, when they picked Luke Kennard over Donovan Mitchell. You kind of need to draft the talent. And at that point in time, Stan Van Gundy was the coach, and obviously there are a few issues around there. And just another part of that kind of losing era for the Pistons, that kind of, in between era for the Pistons, was that Sekou Doumbouya was traded by Troy Weaver, which means that he was the final player from that last era. So obviously now he has a clean slate of guys that he has chosen to be there. Now, when it comes to the Detroit Pistons this upcoming season, I'm not expecting all that much from them. They have a lot of young talent, but obviously there are question marks around the I guess how ready are those guys to contribute to wins. Having really young, second and first year players being the main guys on the team, obviously, except for Jeremy Grant, could not be a good thing. The Eastern Conference is also looking like, probably the strongest it's ever been, or the strongest it's been this century. And then also the fact that last season, the Detroit Pistons were in quite a few close games. 7 times last season, they won a game when they were within 5 points with 4 minutes to go. So obviously winning is something that, can take time. And obviously this team last season, on the other flip side, weren't trying to win. And obviously, I think that the over or under of 23 games is probably a bit harsh. I think Cade Cunningham will make some strides for them. He can make some things happen. I think that he's gonna have to come in and have a big year. I'd be surprised if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, obviously, but hopefully for the sake of the Pistons and their future, he can his game can carry across. Now the Pistons do have 126.3 million committed to the cap this season. However, 29.7 of that is from Blake Griffin, who they bought out and they're still paying. And then following that in the 2022-23 season, they only have 64.5 million committed, and that is without most of the young guys being extended. So they will have a lot of money to make a splash in free agency if that's the direction they choose to go. But let's get into a depth chart and then obviously give a final prediction for the team. So you probably have Bey and Hayes at the point guard. You can probably add Cunningham at shooting guard or small forward. Obviously, he's kind of very versatile defensively as well. Saddiq Bey at small forward, Jeremy Grant at the power forward, and then Kelly Olynyk, who was an interesting signing for them coming off of a season averaging 14.7 rebounds and 3 assists. Then Corey Joseph, Josh Jackson, who's making a bit of a resurgence in Detroit, averaging 13 points per game last season. Trey Lyles, Isaiah Stewart, who made an all-rookie team, Saban Lee, Rodney Magruder, and then guys like Smith, Livers, and Luke Garza making up the rest of the bench. I'm not expecting the Pistons to do anything major in the conference, maybe 28-win season, something around there. Obviously, they won't be as bad as what people expect. And that does bring me to the end of the video, guys, so please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment, and I'll see you in the next one.